Hey folks, my name is Eric Zucro. My project is about eating healthier on a realistic budget. Throughout this semester, we've been learning about the health benefits of eating natural, whole, healthy foods. My goal was to see how obtainable eating healthier was on a realistic food budget for the average American. Many Americans are on a tight budget, and it's very difficult for folks to spend more on these healthier foods, especially when unhealthier food is a lot cheaper. For example, take a look at these two fruit snack options. Even with these items being on sale, there is still a huge price difference. The Lilo and Stitch fruit gummies are $1.25 for a 10 pack, which comes out to about 12 cents a bag, whereas the much healthier freeze-dried strawberry banana snacks are $6 for a pack of 6 bags, which is $1 per bag. The fruit gummies are loaded with added sugar, artificial dyes, hardly any whole, natural, real foods. Meanwhile, the freeze-dried strawberry banana packs mainly consist of real, natural, whole foods, and is the much healthier option. Despite this, many Americans are forced to choose the Lilo and Stitch fruit snacks because they're a lot cheaper. This is the sad reality and one that honestly troubles me a lot. Wanted to see if there's a way we can work around this. Thus, my project attempted to see if a healthier diet could be achieved on a similar budget. Echoing my last slide, one of the goals of finding my first source was to see what healthy, cheap snack options existed. I went back to some of our homeworks and I looked at the scholarly article analysis homework, which talked about nut consumption in the South. Nuts seem to be a great alternative to potato chips for the times I'm craving, like a salty snack. But unfortunately, the vast majority of nuts are more expensive than potato chips. Peanuts, however, are very cheap and actually comparable in price to potato chips, but they have a lot more health benefits. A goal of mine was to eat peanuts instead of potato chips whenever I was craving a salty snack during this 2-week project. I aim to continue this effort of finding better alternative foods when I was reading about plain low-fat Greek yogurt being used as a more nutritious substitute than sour cream. Honestly, this threw me off at first, as I've only had, fruit flake yogurts that were really sweet, so the idea of using Greek yogurt over sour cream seemed kind of crazy. But it turns out that plain non-fat Greek yogurt actually is not sweet at all, and you can hardly taste the difference between it and sour cream. So for the chicken and rice bowls I made, we added plain Greek yogurt instead of sour cream to add some protein and reduce the amount of calories. When looking which stores to shop at, I avoided more expensive chains like Sprouts. While Sprouts does sell a lot of great whole, natural, healthy foods, they are way too expensive for my project, and the prices they sell are too high for the average American. I looked at stores where I could find savings easily, like Winco or Safeway. And finally, what I also did was I found out that 1 out of every 6 working adults acquires free food at work in some way. Thus, to help keep my food costs low, I ate what I could at my work office. So my daily plan to track to see if I was being healthy and affordable was to log each meal, including snacks and desserts. I developed a point system where I gained 1 point if it was a healthy food, 1 point or minus 1 point if it was unhealthy. I got 1 point if it was affordable, and I lost a point if it was expensive. So, an example of peanuts, peanuts would be +2 because they're both healthy and affordable. If I ate potato chips instead of them, it would be 0 points for me, as yes, they were affordable, but they're unhealthy. I aim to get 2 points each meal because that would mean the meal was both healthy and affordable. I was mindful when I was grocery shopping. I looked for Greek yogurt instead of protein snacks. As a lot of protein bars are expensive, unfortunately. I looked for cheaper protein sources like chicken over steak. And I took advantage of some of the great work benefits I have. We get free snacks in the office, as well as Fridays we have catered lunches. So let's take a look at how I did. First few days I was really strong. I had meal prepped the chicken and rice with the non-fat Greek yogurt. I was eating peanuts, which I actually was pretty consistent about throughout this whole 2-week project. I ate a lot at the office. There's a lot of affordableness on here. But as a few days went on, I had started to slip up. I didn't commit to this as much as I should have. I started eating unhealthier, especially during the second week. As you saw, there was really the most healthy things I had were the snacks, but my lunches and dinners were not as healthy. And it was just tough to I underestimated the mental challenge of this. And I think that's probably the biggest part that I learned throughout this was, yes, it could be obtainable. It could be easier to eat healthier on a similar budget, but it's really hard. I felt great during the first week, and so did my wife when we were doing this. I have a lot of physical benefits for eating healthier food. I was more energized. I had a lot of mental benefits because I thought to myself, hey, I'm being physically responsible. I'm not wasting money at restaurants. I'm not going out to eat as much. But I just got lazy and I slipped up. And I think that's one of the really difficult parts about trying to stay budgeted and trying to stay healthy is just there's this need to, not really a need per se, but the craving of unhealthy foods is I completely underestimated. I thought this would be a breeze and I was completely wrong. Reflecting on my project as a whole, um, my situation versus how others would have the same if they tried to attempt the same thing. I don't have a nut allergy, so eating peanuts as a snack was really easy. Imagine, obviously if someone had a peanut allergy, they wouldn't be able to. They'd have to find another way to get a salty snack that was affordable, which I think would be really tough because none really spring to mind. I was also with my job, Fridays I was able to eat healthy. We had a lot of I'll eat for free as well, and we had a lot of free snacks at the office. So for that part, I was really gifted. I think if I had to do this project again, I would also redo the Excel formula. Going back, as you can kind of see here, I can't really go back on this, but um, weighing snacks and desserts the same level as a meal, I don't think is fair. I also didn't include any drinks in this because you could have really healthy drinks, just drinking water or just drinking, like juices with no added sugar. Whereas, on the weekends with, I'm cooking burgers, I'm having a beer, a couple beers with that too. So it's not really, that's also would take my score down even more. So I think if I had to do this project again, I would add a more in-depth scoring system. So in conclusion, yes, a healthier diet can be purchased on a similar budget, but it requires a lot of mental toughness. You have to be able to be willing to cook at home, meal prep out for the next couple of days. You have to look for similarly priced health options, substituting potato chips and Doritos for peanuts instead. Have to be willing to make unusual or unexpected changes like having non-fat Greek yogurt instead of sour cream. Making sure that you're shopping at the right stores and you're looking for coupons. You're not just going in and buying what you want. You kind of let the sales dictate what you're going to eat that week. Granted, if they're healthier, um, you know, going through my study, a big bag of M&Ms could definitely be on sale that week, but it wouldn't be healthy. So making sure that you're looking for savings on healthier items to make sure that you can obtain your goals. Here's my list of references. And I just want to say thank you so much for listening to my presentation. Thank you, Dr. T, for an amazing semester and teaching me a lot about critically reading and a lot about eating healthier and living a more healthier lifestyle. Thank you guys so much.